The other day, I was thinking about these the wildfires in Canada. That it's been causing us in the U.S. to have to wear masks again. The air is so bad. Canceled, as John Bailey mentioned, it canceled a performance. The understudy had to come in because the singer just couldn't do her act. Then today it canceled a ball game. The Tigers were going to play. Not no more. Got smogged out. That's a thing that happens in the age of global warming. Laura Ingraham was on Fox News desperately trying to pretend like it was anything other than what it is. We're going to keep seeing this stuff. I was thinking what I should do is put together the actual names of the people that caused this. Because what we need to start doing, and we'll come back to this in detail in a moment, but what we need to start doing is not letting these people separate their image from this. Every time they appear publicly, every time they are praised by some idiot who does not yet understand that, number one, we're an oligarchy, number two, that's a bad thing, and number three, when you're in the room with an oligarch, you give him a finger, not a hand. I was thinking I should put together those names. Manna from heaven. Serendipity. It turns out David Feldman already did the work, thank God. Let's go to him. This is from the David Feldman Show. I might have been this morning even. Anyway, here he is listing off, like he read my diary, listing off the very people responsible for the situation that you see right there. Only it's happening in Canada.
So, what's really causing the wildfires? ExxonMobil is what's causing the wildfires. We're burning fossil fuels. That heats up the planet, which is why Canada had a dry spring and very little snow in the winter. The woods in Canada are kindling, waiting for a spark. Why? Because America, it's America that won't get off fossil fuels. Who specifically is to blame for all this? Well, ExxonMobil. You want names? I'm going to give you.
Another way to put it, we smoke and our neighbor gets lung cancer.
Names. These are the people who are destroying our planet. If you cannot breathe today, it is Joe Manchin's fault, the Democrat from West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin, who takes more money from the fossil fuel industry than any other politician in America. It is the fault of Warren Buffett, beloved billionaire Warren Buffett, folksy, homespun Warren Buffett, who owns 24% of Occidental Petroleum. Lovely, adorable Warren Buffett, who holds the second largest block of shares in Chevron. He owns nearly $22 billion worth of stock in Chevron. It is the fault of Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, which has invested $317 billion in fossil fuels since the Paris Agreement was adopted in 2015. That's 33% more than any other bank.
So far, so good. No disagreement. Just want to add, what these people are doing should be illegal. Causing harm to folks. We can measure it. We know it. There is no question here. It should be illegal. And boy, it can be. It surely can be. 2024 is our opportunity to get this done. You feel mad? Good. You should be. You're about to feel a hell of a lot madder. We're going to keep it going. But just remember, we have an opportunity in 2024 to fix this. As much as it can be fixed, we can get it done. But 2024 has got to be the year we make that happen.
Diamond, largest investor in fossil fuels, $317 billion since the Paris Accords. Jamie Dimon, was asked last year by Democratic Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib during congressional testimony. Last year, she asked him whether he felt an obligation to divest his company from investments in oil companies. Here is Jamie Dimon's response.
Well, I would like to ask all of you and go down the list, because again, you all have agreed to doing this. Please answer with a simple yes or no. Does your bank have a policy against funding new oil and gas products? Mr. Dimon.
Absolutely not, and that would be the road to hell for America.
Right, and this isn't the road to hell. Have you looked out the window, you arrogant prick? This is the face of death. Right there, J.P. Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon. It's hard to believe that when Jamie Dimon financed Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking of underage girls, that was the least of Jamie Dimon's crimes. He launders money for Russian oligarchs, drug kingpins, and he finances the destruction of our planet. And he says it's the road to hell to get.
Side note, if any of those oligarchs are found to be, let's say, one of the people that bailed out George Santos, and I believe Friday we will find out who they are, I think, we should toss Jamie Dimon's ass into court. If we have the excuse, we should. I'm not looking to bend the law. I'm just looking for it to be enforced for the first time ever on somebody that rich. Because if you paid a mobster and helped them, or rather, if you helped a mobster launder money that the mobster then used to buy off a judge, you would certainly be dragged into court for it eventually. This guy never has been, Jamie Dimon. None of these punks have been. They should be. We can make that happen. We've seen what pressure on the DOJ does. Embarrassment, questioning their legitimacy when it's deserved, has a hell of an effect.
Fossil fuels. We're already in hell. Look out the window, Jamie Dimon, you arrogant, murderous prick. Who else is to blame
in a moment
for your impending emphysema? Darren Woods, the Exxon CEO, the ExxonMobil CEO, who funds phony scientific organizations and think tanks like the American Petroleum Institute, which is paid to deny the link between climate change and fossil fuels. Darren Woods, know the name, know these people. They are murdering our planet. Darren Woods,
which we live on.
CEO of ExxonMobil. Darren Woods, CEO of ExxonMobil. He was accused back in 2021 of lying before the House Oversight Committee when he testified that ExxonMobil didn't cover up its own scientific findings from 40 years ago that fossil fuels were destroying the planet. He's like the tobacco executives who knew cigarettes caused lung cancer years and years before the medical community did. He kept his mouth shut. ExxonMobil knew it was heating up the planet as far back as the 1950s, but it kept on drilling. It kept on drilling. He is murdering us. He is a murderer. Call these people what they are. They are murdering the planet in the name of mammon. Mike Wirth, planet killer. Mike Wirth, chairman of the board and CEO of Chevron, which is possibly the single largest producer of greenhouse gases in the world. And Warren Buffett owns what, $25 billion worth of stock in Chevron? Know these people. They're murdering the planet. When you can't breathe because of the forest fires, it is the fault of the aptly named Larry Fink. Larry Fink, whose Blackstone private equity group has invested close to $100 billion in fossil fuels, proudly so. And your pensions, a lot of your pensions are with the Blackstone equity group. They're investing your pensions in companies that are killing us.
How screwed up is it that they are forcing us, that there is allowed to be a situation where your well-being financially is dependent on the success of somebody who is shortening your life? And that's what we're going to get into in a moment. These people are literally profiting off of making our lifespans shorter. Let's keep it going.
Who else is to blame for the death of our planet? Well, according to The Guardian, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. He's one of the world's largest culprits in destroying the planet, according to Guardian, because he earns billions in advertising from fossil fuel companies, and he allows lies about climate change to spread throughout his platform. And of course, Rupert Murdoch, who, when he's not destroying democracy here in America, earns billions using his media platforms to deny climate science. These are the people who are destroying the planet. You need to know their names. They're murderers. They're killing
everyone. Let's talk ever so quickly about a modern understanding of crime. If you kick in somebody's door and stab them to death, doesn't matter what age they are, you've committed murder. What you have done is deny them every remaining year they had, no matter how much or how little it was. Okay, fine, good. If you poison somebody, if you give somebody cancer through breaking the law in some way, you are denying them a certain amount of the rest of their life. That's all horrible stuff. That should be treated as it's treated. It should be treated badly. But what we have a blind spot for in law is how many years of life are denied when you total them up. Think about this. Somebody builds a bridge over a river, and it connects a long looping road. And we measure how much time that saves motorists over the course of a year based on the traffic on that road. And we find that even though the person, let's say the team of people that built the bridge, let's say it cost, 1,000 man-hours, hours of people working. But it saved 50 years worth of driving when you total up all the traffic. That's like a common calculation. Now think about this. All that smoke in New York that was obvious. How about all the car emissions that we're not measuring right now? How about all the environmental hazards, all the secondary effects? When you add those up, how many years of life are these filthy goddamn oligarchs responsible for denying us? Grandpa would have lived 2 more years, would have seen that last grandkid born. Oldest grandkid would be able to remember their face. Could have passed on a meaningful life lesson. We don't know. Grandpa died. So Jamie Dimon could have a 4th mansion and a 5th wife. F 'em. These people, their behavior is immoral to the point that if it is not criminal, it must be made criminal. We cannot put up with this silly-ass way of judging who's a good person in our society that gives you a pass for all manner of wretched behavior simply if you were able to make money off of it. That's no way to judge whether or not something is right or wrong. Obviously, getting big money out of politics is part of it. I advise signing up with Citizens Take Action. But also, doing what David Feldman presented there, I think, is most important because tip-top, start of the line, first thing we need to do is change the culture. And it's easier. It's easier to change the culture than you might think. How quickly did we all learn the Macarena? Feels like it was overnight, and to this day, I tell you, I can still do the whatever. When you hear these people get praised, bring up that they are responsible for shortening our life expectancy. The U.S. life expectancy shrank. These people are to blame. Make sure the people around you don't get caught up with praising them for their money, because they earn their money by killing us.